Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Now what we will do? We will go into the integration part now. I will not go ahead and straight away configure the integration today, but I'll walk you through a PPT. Guys, today I'm just trying to open that PPT. Guys, when we talk about integrations, what is integration? First of all, we have to understand. It's a way of communication between two different systems. That's the first thing. When we talk about integration, it is a connection between two different systems and it helps us in communication between two different systems. How exactly it works? You have your cell phone, mobile phone. When you have to talk to your friend, what do? You dial the number and you wait till he picks up the call and then you start talking. Same thing goes here also. We have a connection that is built. Once the connection is built, you can send and receive data as much as possible. There is no restriction, but building that connection requires the help of web services, which we have discussed. Now, when it comes to Workday integrations, Workday integration enables you to exchange data efficiently between Workday and any external endpoint. Why do we do basically this Workday integration? Let's say my payroll is outsourced to a third party. Let's say ADP or any other vendor is doing our payroll. They would need data to run the payroll. They would need your attendance data. They would need the leaves option, leaves data. What kind of leave was that? Was it a leave without pay or an annual leave or a paternity, maternity sick leave, whatever the leaves the company is giving? Because of the policy, every policy, they should know that they can compute the payroll. And how much is the compensation per month, per year? Accordingly, they will deduct your taxes. All those things are sent to them. How will we send it? Because we have to send it every month. If it is in India, it will be every month. But if it is a different country, it has to be sent every week. There's a weekly payout, somewhere it is like a one fortnight payment, like once in 15 days. We have to build integrations. If I keep on sending the file manually, it will be a big task. Suppose you have 15,000, 20,000 employees. What will you do in that scenario? You cannot do everything manually. For that purpose only we do integrations. Export payroll data from Workday to a third party or import data from employee hires into Workday using EIB. Now it says use of Workday integration. It says efficiently export and import large volume of data. Initiate integrations on ad hoc or on schedule, which means you can send it on demand or you can schedule it as per your requirement. Let's say weekly. You have to send the payroll. It will be delayed by at least 1 week. It is not possible that you join on Tuesday and you will get your salary on Friday. No, you will get it on next Friday. At least that much amount of time is required for a company to process your payroll. This is how the integrations work. And it says complete most tasks in bulk that you can perform in Workday. As I stated, let's say I'm moving from Workday to, or say PeopleSoft to Workday, and there are 10,000 locations. And if I have to create those 10,000 locations manually, just imagine how much time will it take. I'm not sure if I'm able to create also or not. That becomes very important. Then comes the next part. What is business benefit of it? Why do we need integrations? Example, it makes your task easier and less time consuming. That's the first and foremost thing. It says can save your time and effort while transferring the data from one other applications into Workday. If you have to insert, like give you an example, 10,000 locations. If you just use integrations, it will hardly take 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. But if you have to manually create 10,000 locations, maybe 10 days are also not enough. It says it's necessary to send a large volume of payroll results regularly to a third-party payroll service in the format they require. Of course, we would need to send it. When you need exchange large volume of data in a specific format with external endpoint, then also you can do it. And then it says with Workday integrations, you can avoid manual re-entry of data. That is also a very important point. These are the benefits why integrations are used. Now, what are the different type of connections that we have? It says connections and touchpoints. Workday integrations interact with various parts of Workday depending upon the product area, purpose, and data source. There are two ways by which you communicate. Either you are sending the data out of Workday to a third party, or you are receiving a data from third party and you're inserting into Workday. With that, there are two types of integrations: outbound integrations and inbound integrations. As the name suggests, outbound integrations basically are those integrations which extracts the data from Workday. What it will do, if you want to create a report, you can create a report and the data is now in the report, and you can send it to a third party by using the web services, making a report as a web service, and you can send the data through EAB. Or you want to receive the data, what will happen? They will send a file to you and they will ask you what data you need. You will have to send a template. For example, there are certain templates which Workday is giving. We will use that and we will send it to a third party. They will fill in the data and they will send it to us, and once it comes to us, it gets inserted into Workday. There is very less manual intervention. Everything is done automatically. Every process that you see here is automation. But yes, we need to monitor in case you are getting any error or anything goes wrong. We need to know what is wrong, why it is wrong, that I can either upload the data again or make some changes. Then you have different integration technologies. As I stated that there are 6 types of integrations. We are going to go through 3. We are not going to go into. These are the first 2 types. We have Inbound Enterprise Interface Builder, which is EI. It helps us in sending the data. Inbound basically means we are accepting the data from a third party and we are inserting it into Workday. It says a tool for building simple integrations that load the data into Workday. These are the most used integrations. And then it says Outbound EIB. Outbound EIB is a place where we use custom reports to send that data. And in the inbound EIB, we use web services. Workday provides us some web services that I'll talk about that we can use to insert the data into Workday. These two we are going to look into. Then comes integrations, template-based integrations or template-based connectors. Template-based connectors are those integrations, which is also called as core connector. I'm talking about this now. This particular integration is basically called as template-based connectors, and also it is called as core connector. We use very frequently. This is the most used integrations that we have. Why? It is used because you can develop it as per your requirement. Requirement. In the sense there is a template which is given by Workday, and you can use the services of those templates and send the data to a third party. The only thing is, the output of these integrations is now in XML format. Earlier, it used to give us a CSV file or XML. Both the options were there. But now it only gives an XML. You cannot go ahead, and if you go into a lower version, that will become a challenge. It is better to use XML. In this case, what happens? The data is sent in XML format, but if your vendor is old, they are still not upgraded themselves to XML reader, then it is of no use for you. It becomes very challenging. Then Workday also provides us an option to put a document transformation. I can go ahead and write a code which will help us to go ahead and convert the data into a format which they want, like a vendor. If they want in CSV, text or Excel, whatever, we can make the changes with the help of coding. And that coding is basically known as XLT. T here stands for transformation. XL is extendable style sheet language. And T stands for transformation. It helps us in transforming the XML into a required format. I'll show you that also when we go into the integrations. These are the 3 integrations that we will be learning. And if I have to draw a pie chart, guys, I'll tell you 25% of the integrations are done through EIB inbound, outbound. 65% of the integrations are done through core connector. Just imagine 25 plus 65, how much? 90%. These 3 integrations are very, very important. And the rest are the 3 integrations which you're going to see. It consists of 10% because it completely involves coding. Now you see this option which says template-based integration. Now this type of integrations basically are used only for those organizations where they have only very limited integration. Let's say I have an integration only with ADP for my payroll. What will I do in that case? That I will only use this option. But this is a tool that I have to buy. I cannot just get it from anywhere. This is something you have to buy. This is something we don't have because it requires a license. We cannot show it to you, but it works only with that application. For example, I have a connection with ADP. It will work only with ADP. It's more like an application that you install and use it on your computer. This is useless. None of the organizations who has multiple integrations will use this. It is only good for those organizations. Like, as I stated that they just want to have payroll integrations. They will, buy this application and use it. But yes, it is good to know. Because in interview, you may be asked. The next 3 integrations that you see Workday Studio, it is basically all coding. Here what happens, we use an Eclipse platform. On that platform, we install the Workday Studio. It says Eclipse-based integrated development environment. You can build custom integrations that follow the same template-based model as Workday connectors. This is completely coding. In order to learn Workday Studio, you should have a knowledge of XML, XSLT, a little bit of Java. Because you may have to write the business logics. For that, you would need a little bit of Java. And that's the reason we don't consider this as a part of this curriculum. Because if anybody wants to learn this and they have the prerequisites, then only we suggest you can go for it. And for that, for learning this tool itself, it will take 3 weeks for sure. In fact, more because it is very vast. And then there are other two integrations like SOAP API integrations. It is also called as Workday Web Service, PIWS API integrations. For that you have SAP Simple Object Access Protocol. What it does is, there are a lot of web services which is provided by Workday. And those are generally SAP. You know all the operations you can do. But the thing is, it is not used in the tenant. It is built outside of the tenant. All these integrations, even Studio, SOAP or REST API, everything will be built somewhere outside the tenant. You will have to make an API call to even access the tenant to get or receive the data or send the data. This is not preferred. I mean, these are very rare scenarios where you will see it is being used. And it is for those people who do not know Workday. You know people, those who are very smart, they say that I am only good at coding. I do not know anything else. In those scenarios, you will use these kind of integrations. We have SOAP and we have REST. REST again. This is again an API provided and it has limited number of Workday operations. This is used generally for your mobile application. You want to use a mobile app. For those purposes, you will use REST API. For SOAP, you can build anything. Almost everything is accessible through this. These are the type of integrations we have. In our curriculum, we have EIB inbound, EIB outbound, and then template-based connectors, which is also called as core connector guys. This is something which you should remember. And then the last slide talks about limitations. I'll just leave it to you. Let's say inbound, EIB supports only one data source. Outbound, EIB supports only one data source. Basically, you want to use a custom report or a web service. You can, but only one. But in EIB, you can only use web service. You can't use custom report. Then it says template-based integration. This is more difficult than EIB, but each template supports a single dedicated vendor. That's the reason I said that. You cannot use it with everybody. Integration templates can support any other endpoint, even if your use case is similar. This is rarely used, but yes, it is used. It is not that it is ignored. Then you have template-based connector. It is more difficult than EIB, for sure, and you can use many data sources from where you can bring in the data and send it to anybody. Studio is separate from Workday. Tenant requires Studio-specific training. Studio integrations generally take longer to build, and template-based integrations are connectors. And this is where you would be an expert on coding. Then only you can learn it. Workday Web Services requires non-Workday development expertise and infrastructure. For example, you are doing it from Java, Python, or somewhere you will use this option. API. Same for Rust API also, but it is only for your mobile. If you have developed a Workday mobile application, you want to, customize it, you have to use this option. But very limited operations are supported on a mobile application. These are the limitations. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.